us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspaper from around the world is a Rise News analyst, Emmanuel Efeni. Great to have you. Good morning.
Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ruben. Yeah. Good morning, my sister from Edo State. Edo, all the way. Let's start the newspaper review with these days newspapers. The lead story, political crisis in Edo deepens as Assembly Speaker is removed. Obaseki pledges support for Kie. Izeyamu congratulates Edoro. Now, most of Nigerian newspapers today have the Edo situation as their lead. Let's look at how they are reporting the story. Vanguard newspaper. Tension as 24 Edo House members fight for control. Police order security men invade Edo Assembly Complex in the morning. 17 lawmakers impeach Speaker. Deputy Edoro emerges new Speaker. He is a joker, Speaker Okie, who resists attempt to take over Assembly of Obaseki. Security agents take over House as renovations begin. PDP APC exchange words, Edoro, 16 lawmakers visit police. Events in Edo threatens order, says Atiku. Of course, the Nation newspaper, House of Assembly crisis throws Edo into turmoil, while the Tribune newspaper, Nigerian Tribune, battle for Speaker roughens Edo governorship race. Assembly complex roof removed, sand deposited at entrance. Then, of course, the New Telegraph, trouble in Edo as APC takes over Assembly, sacks Speaker. Ushomole's associates are Speaker, Deputy Speaker. Okie, my impeachment, a non-issue. Police cordon off Assembly, PDP. It's a coup. 19 lawmakers pledge support for APC, Izeyamu, while the Daily Independent newspaper, outrage, condemnation, trail police invasion of Edo Assembly. This is coup against democracy, recipe for anarchy. PDP, police action, threat to constitutional order article. Now, if we come back to these day newspapers and just look at how this story is unfolding, an unusual situation where 14 elected legislators elect, have been out in the cold since June last year. Now, an unusual situation, not necessarily an illegal situation, because arising from that proclamation from Governor Obaseki and the midnight swearing in of 9 members and 2 later joined, of course, those 14 members have been hibernated in Abuja as part of the arsenal of the then chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole. Yes, arsenal, my word. Because after they exhausted, the National Assembly intervention went to court, and the court stated that there cannot be a second proclamation. They refused to make themselves available for swearing in. Yesterday's action, well, is their own way of getting back into reckoning. But they had the backing. Their action was buoyed by a letter, a legal opinion written by no less a person than the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. And on the strength of that, they met somewhere in a private residence, and that inauguration, another inauguration took place. They elected their own speaker and, of course, suspended the speaker by name Ekie. Now, is that action legal? No, because the Supreme Court had ruled on that in the Lord Georgia case, that the Assembly can only sit in the designated place, the House of Assembly. reading together Section 104, 108 of the Constitution, the lead judgment then read by the late Justice Nikki Toby says that the Assembly can only sit properly in the designated place, the House of Assembly, not in a hotel, as was then the case, not in a private residence, as we saw yesterday. So, illegality, redressing an unusual situation. Where do we go from here? Democracy in danger. Ruben, you expatiated on that much earlier. Let's hear Adesua, the lady from Edo State.
Well, like I said earlier, this has nothing to do with the Edo people. It's just the selfish interest of a few people. And, you know, the build-up of this, the build-up to this election, September 19 election, is clear. It's just about the ego of a few men, the personality clashes, you know, power grab, you know. And you're right, this dates back to about a year ago when it all started. It's now everyone trying to outdo each other's illegality. You would ask why these 17 members suddenly found the need, you know, to challenge the situation, the status quo this way, when they had themselves gone to court to seek redress. And like Dr. Abati said, it's resorting to self-help. And any way you look at it, it is completely illegal. 17 is not 1/3 of 24, which they even need to form a quorum. So it's shameful, I must really say. On behalf of the Edo people, we do apologize. It is really shameful. And it's not the first time. You know, I was making a joke that I would like to take off the roofs because if you recall, even under the previous administration of Governor Adams Oshiomhole, he also took off the roof and the Assembly was not able to sit for almost a year. We also had a case where we had almost 4 speakers in the space of one administration. So it is really, this is not an example of democracy. This is not the democracy Nigerians want to see, and certainly not the Edo people.
Well, just to add by way of footnote to some of the comments that I made earlier, I think what remains is to look at the role of the police, the security agencies in this matter. We were told that the policemen were sent from Abuja and they were acting on orders from above. And after that illegal and unconstitutional meeting of the House of Assembly at an undisclosed location, we were told that there was a photo session with the State Commissioner of Police, and that later they also had a photo session with the State Director of DSS. If this is true, then of course that's very shocking indeed, because what it means is that whoever was behind that ugly drama in Edo State yesterday did so using what you may call federal might, acting on orders from above. And after that, you know, rascality had been put in place, it was further endorsed by that unexplainable photo session. Now, the Commissioner of Police, the State Director of State Security Services, now they are not politicians, and they do not have, you know, any the guidelines for their function, operational guidelines, do not allow them to get directly involved in partisan politics. So those photographs we saw, I hope it's not that maybe somebody was impersonating them, because it's this kind of behavior that compels people to say, perhaps we need state police, not the kind of police that will be given instructions from Abuja to come and create tension at the state level. Look, I said, you know, public officials do not have to carry out the wishes of politicians. Take the example of the Chief Judge of Ondo State. When he was asked to set up a panel to ensure the removal, the impeachment of Agbola, the former deputy governor, the Chief Judge of Ondo State pointedly refused because, you know, in our view, there was no basis for that request. So that is how it goes. And I hope that this is not an indication of the kind of impunity, rascality, brigandage that we will witness on September 19 when the gubernatorial election takes place.
I mean, what I just want to say is it's all very cloudy now, but we'll see it when it rains.
Well, I hope that public display of that photograph is not a pointer to where those security agencies' loyalty lie come September 19.
Well, good point there. Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel Efeni. Thank you.